Hello, it's Glenn again, and we are going to do another episode of the Beatles Missing Surround Sound Tapes. Doesn't that sound great? Well, yes, thank you. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. Okay. There's good news and bad news. As you know, I have not done any podcast on Hard Day's Night. Now, Hard Day's Night looks very fertile to me to be a great surround sound album because it does come after Beatles for Sale, and Beatles for Sale is already surround sound perfect, heaven. And I really do mean that, with the music out of the left rear channel and different music out of the right rear channel and vocals out of the front and maybe sometimes even a vocal out of the right rear or the left rear. So it's already surround sound mixed, or at least we should say it was, if they did Hard Day's Night. Now, I'm assuming they did them in chronological order. There's no reason to assume that, but I know they did the recording of them, so that does mean that there would be multi-tracks galore that anyone intending or hoping to turn Hard Day's Night into a surround sound production could easily do so. So, what is my point? Well, I got a text on the interweb last night. And, of course, last night doesn't mean anything on the interweb. It's a meaningless term, but yes. And it said, hey, Hard Day's Night is here in surround. And I said, you're kidding me. He said, no, it's in 5.1. Now, we all know there's no 5.1 Hard Day's Night anywhere, except maybe the movie with the talking and the sound of, oh, fuck. So, here's the thing. This is 5.1 music only, and it has what nothing else has. And that is all of the additional songs that were on the Hard Day's Night album in England. Now, in America, we got this piece of crap, like 6 songs and then 6 musical pieces. But in England, they got 6 new songs that we had not even heard. So at that time, they got I've Just Seen a Face. Let's see. I think one was Look What You're Doing. I'll have to check on that. I can check on it while we're talking, and we're not talking. But the thing that I would point out, gratefully, is that it had 6 new songs on it. Now, this reminds me of a very fucking a situation that really pissed me off. I was I was at my home. I was, I guess, 16 or 15 when this album came out. And my cousin came up from Gardena. She was a big Beatles fan, too, bigger than me. She was a she, and she, loved them. I didn't love them, but I did like their music. And, we were talking. I said, I'm so glad that Hard Day's Night came out. She said, yeah, her too. And which song? I like that song. Oh, yeah, I like that song. And then she named a song I'd never heard. I said, what? And she, apologized. And she goes, oh, my dad was in England last week, and he picked my copy up there. He knew I really wanted to hear it, so he got my copy there. So I think my copy has different songs than yours. And I said, you mean to tell me in these days of Beatlemania, you have 6 songs, a half an album by the Beatles, in your house that nobody's heard except you? You could have brought them with you up here so I could at least hear them, and you didn't do it? And she goes, no, I didn't think about it. I just listened to them. I figured, well, I don't know. So as you can see, I've never forgotten that. I was just angry as hell. I didn't say anything. She was very nice, but can you believe that? She had a half an album by the Beatles that was not released in the United States, and she had it for 6 months. And just, I don't know, I guess I just got my copy from England. If she had brought it over, I later met the people that could have done something with it. Not something legal, but could have turned it into an album and sold the album in Gardena. But that never happened. So, okay. So that never happened. We're back to Hard Day's Night. So anyway, my source for Hard Day's Night says he's going to have it here before February 1st. So our very next meeting, we're going to have a review of the surround sound Hard Day's Night. And I don't want to do something new first, which has most of those songs that later showed up. But I do want to do the Hard Day's Night because it is just so perfect. It's the English album Hard Day's Night with the pictures on the front. And it's got, I think, 14 songs, only they are all in 5.1. And at least one of the other discs that I've seen in this collection had bonus cuts. Yes, bonus cuts. We talked about it when we were listening to them. It was the Beatles for Sale, and it had Live at the Hollywood Bowl in 5.1. What? And it had a outtake of Look What You're Doing. I know it's called What You're Doing, and that was in 5.1 with the joking and the laughing and the breaking down and the changing keys and George not able to play a solo to save his life. Those are George Martin's words, not mine. And so maybe, I haven't taken a look, but maybe there'll be some outtakes or something new. Can you imagine that? Something we haven't heard on Hard Day's Night? That would be great, but we're going to hear it in surround. And if you write enough letters to Capital or to EMI, I'm not exactly sure, but I'll figure this out. I think it would be to EMI. Well, wait a minute. No, EMI was in it. EMI paid to have it remixed. It would have to be to Paul, Ringo, and Olivia, and the Yoke, and tell them, no, don't worry that they sounded bad. They can make them sound good now. We've heard it. Just please agree to surround sound Beatles catalog. Maybe they'll get it. Okay? Maybe that'll happen. So that's it for this week. There will be a special podcast, a much more serious podcast. So if you're only into just kicking back and listening and laughing about the Beatles, skip the next one. The next one is going to be only for those subscribed. If you're not subscribed, you won't be able to hear it. Can you believe that? And it will be about Larry Carlton, the guitar player Larry Carlton. And what's happened here is that I've got a copy now of the disc Larry Carlton and Tak, I want to get his name right, Matsumoto, Tak Matsumoto, the great Japanese guitar player. And I've got their Take Your Pick, which was first they put out an album called Take Your Pick, and now they put out now a video called Take Your Pick at the Blue Note. So what they're trying to do is sell the same album twice, which I think is pretty shitty. And I have some observations, and I've talked to people who are in the know, so I've got some backstage revelations, and I'm going to let you know what I see is going on. But what I see there, and this could be completely wrong, for all I know, tomorrow these guys will announce they got married. But to me, it looks like there's a lot of hostility and like these people just don't like each other. And I see lots of reason for Mr. Matsumoto to feel that he was treated as a red-haired stepchild, which means poorly. And you'll hear that on the next one. Thank you for listening. And remember, on the next Beatles one that you get notice of if you're subscribed, it's Hard Day's Night. Thanks for listening. One more thing, and you hear this on every podcast, so you don't need to hear it today. But if you get anything out of these, or you want to get anything out of the future ones, because we are definitely going to review Magical Mystery Tour, which is not out in surround in the world. We're going to review Help, which you can't buy in surround. Oh my goodness, we're going to review Rubber Soul, which is just another knockout in surround. I just love it. And if you want to get notice of those and hear the reviews, and I'll see if somehow I can drop in there enough clues as to where you can go get them. I will not drop any clues as to where I got them, but I will drop clues as to whether maybe you, if you took a journey, where you could go get them and listen with me and maybe join me on the podcast. Who knows? But please subscribe. And you see the bell? If you ring that bell, or if you click that bell, your computer will ring as soon as the next Beatles one is ready, which I'm hoping for will be the first week of February. And it'll ring and say, hey, there's a review of the Beatles in Surround 5.1 Hard Day's Night. And we can talk about it then. Thanks for listening.